Hi, it's Chris from Stamp Blessings, and I was lucky to have my Zoom class this afternoon with a couple of friends who had gotten my to-go card kit. Unfortunately, I didn't have the paid membership, so after 40 minutes and some phone problems, we got cut off. So I thought I'd follow up with a quick video of how I made my card kit. Now, this is the actual card kit that I bought from Close to My Heart, and if you've never gotten our kits before, they're great. It came with the stamp set and matching thin cut dies. It came with a bag of acrylic hearts, and they're all sorts of shapes, and these attach beautifully with some liquid glass. So if you're wondering about how to stick that onto your card or your scrapbook page, that's how you would do it. In addition, we have the value envelopes and card bases, so that was a great deal. And then the cutting guide, which is a glossy PDF to make these 4 cards, and you'd end up making 16 of them. And it includes, like I said, the how-to cutting guide and finished directions. But I wanted to personalize this kit to make 5 cards because that's what I usually offer in my home. So you'll recognize some of the cards. I almost went directly to their examples, but then I changed things up a little bit because that's just how I am. For my first card, the Lovin Sprinkles, I ended up using watercolor paints to color my snow cones. And these are the Close to My Heart watercolors. And the colors are really vibrant, and I really enjoy watercoloring with them. So I'll set aside my card, and I'll get the bits and pieces. Now for my Zoom class, I did already start coloring some of the parts, but we'll go ahead and finish these up then. I don't want to make you wait too long for me. In my card class, I also showed which colors I used to make it easier for you to color these snow cones. This isn't watercolor paper, but the White Daisy cardstock from Close to My Heart is really sturdy, and I love it because I can just watercolor directly and really quick and loosely. And it doesn't have to be perfect because snow cones are each individual. After I used this darker orange, I came in with this bright purple because I'm trying to match that color there. And then I went in and added a little bit of pink, and you really want to make sure you have a lot of water on there so that that color can flow. Okay, and I have enough left over on that brush that I think I could just add a little bit here. Great. For my wrappers, I went ahead with this lightest blue color right here, and I'm going to just grab that and quickly do these here. And I don't even have to re-wet my brush or get more paint because it was enough to do that part. And I'll come in one more time and go ahead and do that really quick. And what I like about watercolors is it's a nice loose look. So now all 3 of my little guys are done. And Juliet mentioned that she was going over hers with a shimmer brush, which I think would add a lot of nice sparkle to it. And I was even thinking if you had clear stickles, that would be fun too. So now to complete this card, I would simply take my card base that I've pre-cut, and that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then I went ahead and already cut this. This pattern paper is actually from the current mixed in papers. And I would layer that. I'm not gonna take the time to glue this all down. I've pre-cut, and this die is also included in the die set, so it's great. I'm gonna be using that little shape for other cards in the future. And then I would go ahead and lay out my beautiful snow cones. The last thing you could do if you had this card kit is I took the little sprinkles, and on my card I added a little sprinkle border on the bottom just to give it a little bit more, I don't know, interest, I guess. So that's the first card of my Summer Vibes card kit. The next card is this Stay Cool card kit, and I love this. This is a fun paper. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that this is leftover from when I was a consultant with another company that has since shut down to consultants. So, but when you've got it, you might as well use it. So that's what I did here. So I'm gonna set this aside, and these snow cones look so beautiful and so yummy. You can see that I stamped the little sprinkle in the background, and I did have a little goof there, but I'm not worried because later I'm going to cover it up with the scrap. So the markers that I'm using today is I am using Copic markers, and that's because that's what I have, and I hate to just rebuy everything. So there's a quick look at what I am using. I'm gonna start with the lightest color and just go ahead and go in nice big circle motions. Because I use the black intense ink from Close to My Heart, I can use Copic markers with that, and I can even watercolor. So it's really my go-to ink, and I encourage anybody, if you're gonna order it, that you order right away the ink refill, okay? Because I did find, because I use it so much, that my pad did dry out pretty quickly. And I mean, I use it a lot because I do card classes, so it's probably more than just the normal everyday wear and tear. But once that re-inker came, I was ecstatic. And so I'm just laying down some color, and I have a little bit of a harsh line, but I could just keep going over that, and that's more yellow than I wanted. So I just kind of play around until it's the color that I like, and I would continue doing that all the way around. So I meant to show you a little trick that I did for cutting this V earlier, and I brought up a little scrap piece of paper because I think it's an easy technique. A lot of people usually freak out and say, I can't do a tab, Chris. Can you do it for me? But I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. You just find the center of your end and you cut in. I cut in just a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. You could even go 1/2 inch, but for this cut, it's about 1/4. And then I just snip from one corner to that cut. I come in and I snip the other corner. So there you have it. Let's look what a 1/2 inch cut would look like. That'd be a little bit more significant, but it's also quite nice. It depends on the look you want. So again, I'm just going from the outside corner in, snip, turn my paper, find the outside corner and come in and snip. Simple. So there you have it. One is a little bit more significant than the other. So to finish this card, it's pretty easy. Another fun die that's included in the Summer Vibes kit is the Stay Cool. So the stamp has a matching cutout, and I could have just stamped directly on here. And if you're in a time crunch, that's probably what you want to do. But I'm going to just glue it on to add a little bit more dimension. And then I would layer my card and place that there. Put my little banner here, and that's where my goof is, so I'm gonna cover that up. I hate to waste anything. And 1, 2, 3, and boom, our second card is done. Well, once I finish coloring in those. I'm gonna set that aside now too. I really like this You're So Sweet sentiment. That is from a stamp set at least 2 years back, but I just thought I wanted to mix things up, and I thought the pop of black would be so pretty with these popsicles. It's a simple card layout, but I used our border die to give the edge a little scallop, and then I just cut a little strip of scrap paper up on the top. And once I emboss this, I can just do a quick cut, and I like to cut just a little bit away so that I have a border. You can see I'm not cutting quite on the line, and even when I fussy cut, I do the same thing. I think it looks almost like then that it's been die cut. And go ahead and finish. So I've already colored in my Zoom class 2 out of the 3 popsicles. I'm gonna set that aside. And just to give you an idea of the colors that I used the Y08 for the yellow, and then I used a combination of the R02 and R05 for that orange one, and that matches this sorbet color really well. This actually might be the smoothie. I think that is the smoothie. And for my last popsicle, I want this blue, and it's a nice pop of blue. And for that, I am using the BG01 and BG05. Okay, so when I color, a lot of times people say you could either go light first or go dark first. I'm gonna go ahead and put the dark color down first, and I just like to give it a little shadow or a grounding. So there's really not a lot of dark color on this. The rest is gonna be pulled out now, and then I just use a little swirling motion to keep it going. And I didn't color those inside pieces, but you could definitely, and I think a little sparkle or shimmer brush would look pretty on these as well. So these were all die cut, and I ended up die cutting the shape first and then coming in and stamping over it. Sometimes I got a little wonky on those, so if you got my card kit, you might want to check if yours looks wonky. I flip it over, I might have stamped it on the other side. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color in that popsicle stick, and that's an E55. Because I didn't really use a different color on that yellow, I could come in with the same yellow and just give it a little bit more shading. That's a trick if you don't have multiple shades of one color. See how that's just a little bit darker now, just by having let it dry and coming in. And I like that because now they all have some dimension. I have to go back on my original and do that too. So then the card is really quite easy from there. I'm gonna just stack, and that is 4 by 5 1/4. And this here actually, what does that measure? I like these here. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 by, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. Okay. This is a simple card, but I could really see reusing this layout again because I really like how simple it was. And then I would come in, and of course you could use pop dots with yours. I'm a little bit not, I just don't use pop dots enough probably, but I do like them. All right, 3 cards done. Are you with me? Next is the watermelon. And to be honest, I used a different pink for my watermelon on this card than I did this morning. And as I got to use it, I decided that I wanted to actually use a different color. So I used on this watermelon, it was again the R02 and R05. And but one thing that is nice is I used liquid glass, so you can really see how that shines, and that makes this a little bit more fun, this card. So if you have liquid glass at home, just set it aside to really let it dry before you touch it again. So, and the green that I'm using is YG17, and that's pretty quick and easy. Boom. And for laying down my watermelon, I like to do the dark again first. And I just like it to be the anchor, so I just am doing a little squiggle. Just really loose and not, here I almost went out of the corner. And then I come back in with the lighter color and pull that around. And I left a little bit of a little, kind of a little white spot. I think I'm gonna be having to re-ink this one soon. I hear that the re-inkers are back in stock, so I'm happy about that. So let me see, I'm gonna just check. Let me see, I might have had to use the prawn. I think that's what happened. I used the popsicle. I apologize. I'm using the prawn R24 as my dark color, duh. And then that's why I didn't get that shade. And now I do have a little dinger there. But I do have I'm gonna just quickly now. Yep, that's gonna be more of a watercolor, watermelon color. But you can always go darker. It's just harder to sometimes go a little bit lighter. And I come in and pull that in. The one thing about pre-die cutting your images is it's a little bit less to hold on to when you're coloring. So that is one of the trickier aspects, but it's manageable. And if you have a clear marker, I'm gonna just see if I can try and, red tends to be a little bit tricky, but I don't think most people will notice that. And if I put a little clear liquid glass, it'll be perfect. There you go. So on the original card, this was a zip strip that was from the top of our 12 by 12 papers. That's one of the neat features of From Close to My Heart is each paper has a little strip on top. But because I had so many people get my card kit, thank you very much, I had to recreate with that same border die that I used on the white card, and I just die cut from some lemonade cardstock and layered it over some white. And so I would just finish this off, put on my 2 watermelons, and add a little liquid applique. I don't know why I keep saying liquid applique, it's liquid glass. All right, and our last card is this beautiful ice cream cone. And in the sample, they had it in orange and yellow, but I prefer chocolate myself, so that's what I went with. And just a quick tip, I did go over the sentiment with a quick stroke of the flat edge of the Copic marker, and that way it gave me a little bit of an extra highlight. So for my chocolate, I'm using E17, and it's really easy to color in because by starting at the bottom, I'm using the big swaths of opening, so it's easier to get that coloring in. Coming in for the second one. And coming in for the third, and you can just kind of turn it, and I'm probably rushing this a little bit more than I would normally, and then I just got that little tip there of chocolate there. So nice. And again, I did get a little bit of a doodad out of the corner there, but with the blender pen you can usually push it back in a little bit, and that's perfect. For my cone, I'm using E31 and E33, and again I'm gonna just go a little bit darker on the edges because that's where I want it to be showing it just a little dimension. So I'm just coming in on the sides, and here's another marker that sounds like it's gonna need a refill. And I'm gonna come in and just spread that around. And I'll leave a little white section here to be my highlight. Pulling in that color a little bit here. Again, kind of moving that darker color in. You would probably take some more time just to smoothen that out a little bit, but you can start to see that the cone is starting to take shape. And I could even go back in a little bit and add a little bit more darker if I wanted to. Just to, there we go. And then I finish it up with one more. So for this, this is the pattern paper that comes with the kit. And I cut the glacier paper a little bit thinner just to make it go further. You could put it on the entire back, but what I do is just run a piece of glue or you could use a tape runner, and then I'm gonna just line it up so that I have a nice, a little border, not even quite a 1/4 of an inch. But the grid on this work pad helps me line that up if you have a pad at home or your paper cutter. So there you go. And then I would go ahead and layer that, and I would do both sides before I attach it down to here. And I would stack, and pop it up. Whoa. And of course I have glue on my hand. So there you go. There are my 5 cards that I created for my card kit. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And I hope you'll stay tuned to my blog, because I did post a long card this morning using the same stamp set, and I'll be having some more fun ideas. All right, thanks for watching, and you can find me at Stamp Blessings is my blog, www.stampblessings.com, and I hope to see you around.